All right, hey, this is Chicago Beer Geeks podcast. We are at episode number 8.
That was quick, man.
So, yeah, there's just a couple of us here today, just myself, Dan, and I have Nick over there.
Just like old times, bud.
And then we are here at Myths and Legends in, what is this exact town? Westmont.
Beautiful Westmont, Illinois.
And we have the head brewer here, David, who has been brewing here now for 4 months, you said?
Yeah, a little over 4 months.
But as a brewer, we've been talking to him a little bit before we started the podcast, quite a few years. So he definitely has experience in that. So thanks for having us out at the brewery and some of your great beers. Actually, you got a chance to first talk to you yesterday at the Sierra Nevada event. BeerCamp. Me and Nick were there. Yeah, it was a great event. If you guys missed it, you definitely should check it out if it happens again next year. Was this the second time they've had it, or
third time?
Yeah,
and it's going to. It's got 8 cities, and Chicago is one of them.
Yeah. It was probably one of the better events I've been to in a while.
I mean, that's a really cool space.
Yeah,
and we never go for anything ever.
It was indoor and outdoor.
Yeah. Like an open air vibe.
Yeah, I wasn't, before I got there, I wasn't quite sure. I was like putting sunscreen on and everything because I was thinking it was going to be outside. I'm going to die because it was 90-some degrees. But then when I got there, and sure enough, it was inside, and then they had the outside area as well with the food trucks and more of the breweries.
Bands
as well.
Yeah.
There was some guy out there. It was weird. There was like a heavy metal guitarist at one point, rocking like straight up metal hair, and he was on stage at the same time with 2 guys on horns, and then a singer who was singing like ska, it sounded like. So I don't know what the hell was going on. But yeah, it was very interesting for sure. But it was a great day for the event, a great event. You guys had a couple beers there.
Yeah, we had a light ale.
Light ale.
And Whale of Banshee, which is Imperial Hoppy Irish Red.
Yeah, I had that one yesterday. That was a great beer.
I'm getting a chance to catch up because I was in and out at that party, but we got them both right here.
Yeah,
you had on tap there.
So definitely, and it was $40. I think $75 for
VIP or early entry.
Early entry. So that's all it got you. I don't know. It was an hour early, right?
Right. Yeah, for a full hour.
Yeah. I mean, the venue space was really great, and the way it was spread out was really great. I don't know if you really needed an extra hour. I was able to get pretty much every beer, with the exception of some of the rare beer lines went up when those went up.
We had 4 hours there if you weren't.
Exactly. So I think the $40 is a great price for what they gave you.
Yeah.
$75 for the extra hour. It's up to you if you want to spend that money, but
that's true. That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
And then Navy Pier, to your point, is usually the home of fucking Leinenkugels and Miller Lite and Harry Carey's, a bunch of corny shit basically. Yeah. So to have a proper fest there was very fun.
It was great, and you can check out our Instagram. I took a bunch of pictures there and posted them on Instagram, which go to our Facebook feed as well. And I think our Twitter also. Mm-hmm. It kind of just goes all over the place through our social media. So tell us what you got going on here at Myths and Legends.
See, the artist formerly known as Urban Legends.
Urban Legends, exactly.
Well, the name got changed last August.
Okay.
And now it's Myths and Legends. Don't know too much of the backstory. I'm here to brew beer.
Yeah.
My New England IPA or Northeast style IPA was really went over really well. So got orders to brew that. A lot more. That's coming out again in another 3-4 weeks.
And which one was that? What was that called?
It's called Storm Along.
Storm Along.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems to be the New England style, or hazy, or juicy, or there's so many different names for the same friggin' beer.
Yeah, it was
style.
Kind of interesting brewing a cloudy beer again.
Yeah.
And trying to forget a couple processes to get it cloudy again, but it was interesting. It was fun.
Yeah.
And the hopping was a lot of fun. It came out really delicious.
What kind of hops do you use?
It was Warrior, Citra, Azaka, and Amarillo.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Azaka.
Yeah. They gave it a nice, beautiful little roundness to it.
Yeah, that's one of the newer hops, isn't it?
Yeah. Came out a couple years ago.
Yeah.
It's a really nice fruity tropical hop. Got a nice balance.
Nice.
And then that's the first of my light ales. We did that with Mosaic hops. The next one that's in the fermenters is done with Amarillos, and then the third one's gonna be Cascades. And it's just a single hop light ale, and whichever one the customers like the most is the one that we're gonna go with. The beer was originally based off of Cascades, but I've done Amarillos in the past. It's the first time doing Mosaic, and they all come out really nice.
And we did also have your Knights. What was it called? The milk stout?
It's King Street.
King Street.
Yeah, it's been here for a while.
So that one was really good.
Yeah, it's a coffee milk stout.
Yeah,
really tasty.
That one was definitely it's a spot on great milk stout. They have it on bottles right now. It's not on tap right now, but you can keep
by the end of the week.
It'll be by the end of the week.
Yeah.
So it's in Bombers for sure already, though. You can grab it here. Cool little spot here, like back in obviously industrial parks, as all breweries seem to be.
it kind of feels like that's the most common setup for breweries nowadays.
Well, you've got access to more electricity, water, and gas if you need it. We're electric here, but most places are usually gas. So they've got the setup, and it's easy just to set something up, put it in a little industrial area.
Yeah, and you got the big garage door I noticed was open. You have a table half out there. People can hang out when the weather's nice, or if it's horrible, you just close it up and chill out inside.
Yeah, we've got music Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays usually.
Cool.
Thursdays we do a bag league, and they set up outside.
Nice.
We're soon going to have some disc golf putting leagues with the baskets.
Yeah, we noticed on the tour earlier you have like some proper, like frisbee golf goals set up that are made out of artisan, handcrafted, made out of old barrels.
Yeah, I've got a really good friend who played disc golf with for a while. Was the woodworker, and when I saw the barrel, we had leftover barrels, 55-gallon barrels, perfect bottom for the basket, and the cobalt barrels are almost perfect tops.
They're really cool looking. I mean, I mentioned I haven't played frisbee golf in a long time, but I'm used to the metal cages, obviously, and these ones just the cool factor of them alone, makes it something like if you had a whole course that was designed around that with like a brewery attached to it somehow, that just or a distillery even with those barrels, kind of that whole theme just is a really cool theme for like a disc golf course in my mind.
Your favorite brewery, Argus. There's an old the old shop where they used in Pullman where they used to make train cars, and it's been closed forever. Oh, but they set up frisbee golf goals around this old train station, and we partied pretty hard out there one night.
There are a bunch of brewers that play disc golf.
Yeah, well, even I know I've gone to Bell's, and their shop up front, the eclectic cafe shop, whatever they call it. It's a homebrew shop with all the Bell's merch, and they have a whole disc golf rack.
They sponsor tournaments.
Do they?
Oh, Bell's does?
Yeah. Last time I was out at New Belgium, I got a couple discs that were Fat Tire Flyers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's always nice to see around the country more disc golf.
It's a good drinking game.
Hey, it goes hand in hand with the beer. You can walk around the woods, have a good beer with you, make sure you clean up after yourself. Or make the place cleaner than where you found it. As well, but it goes hand in hand. It's just having a nice enjoyable day with a couple beers and a couple friends.
Definitely.
Throwing the frisbee.
Yeah, I remember when I was in high school, people would try to sneak beers onto the course. Obviously the high school weren't legal to drink, and they didn't want you to have beers in the park. So it's kind of hand in hand. But you
ever get to play Gilson or just Libertyville?
The Adler and Libertyville.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I played. Yeah, I noticed we got some barrels behind us, so if you guys are looking on the podcast via the video versus audio only, we do have barrels behind us. We're sitting in their small but excellent barrel room. As long as you got a barrel room, it's excellent, regardless of how the size is.
That's true.
So
I just emptied a whole bunch of our bigger Heaven Hill barrels, which have quad in it for the anniversary party coming up on Saturday.
And that's what we have here, anniversary party. You can see, I know you can't read it, but definitely check out Myths and Legends Facebook page and their website. They got this on there, or better yet, stop down here and talk to them about it.
On the 17th, noon to midnight, I think, or whatever the times say. I don't know.
What do we got? Does not even
4 to midnight. There we go. 4 to midnight. 4 p.m. to midnight.
So Barrel Age Destroy Ya.
But yeah, that one's carbonating right now. We packaged up this week. I've got a Imperial Stout beer behind me here and an Imperial Rye Porter.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what are we drinking right here? This was the first one.
The first one is I call it Indonesian American Amber for my intern who's from Indonesia.
Okay.
Before he went back, we designed it. My best thank you I could give him was to design a beer around, have him help design a beer. He was from Indonesia originally, came to the United States to get his engineering degree, worked at a big firm for a while, then decided he wanted to be a brewer, got his brewing degree, and then before he went back, he wanted to find a place where he could just do it. And I just said, come on in. I'd love to have help and love to teach you as much as you're willing to learn. And he was an absolutely wonderful help and really great guy. And my best thank you I could do was say, hey, let's design a beer together. And so it's just an American Amber, nice and
it's very light drinking. Yeah, very easy to drinkable.
About 6 to 6.5%, depending how it finished out. And Cascades and Amarillos, and just some nice maltiness, and it's just easy drinker. And then the other one we have here is the Barrel Age Destroy It.
Oh, so this is.
Thank you.
Yes.
This is a preview.
Now, we were talking in the pre-show, man, about you throwing down some old school names like Will Johnston and Will Turner. You go way back, man. You want to talk a little bit about like what you were doing before you showed up at Mr. Legends?
Well, I took 8 years off of brewing.
Okay.
Before that, I was down in North Carolina. I was starting a production facility and apparently trained my assistant well enough to do my job. And then that's when I walked away. Before that, I was...
It always happens.
Yeah, well,
everywhere. It's not just in the beer industry.
It's all industries. The first place I was at was a place called Brockway Chop House in Palatine, which was originally Emmett's. Then it was Brockway, and now it's Emmett's again.
Okay.
And that's where I cut my teeth. Learned how to brew at a professional level. Before that, I was managing a homebrew shop, and get to meet the guys doing beer events and meeting them when I was judging, and then just hanging out with them up at Goose Island when it was still owned by Goose Island. Hanging out on the brew deck, and it was around when Peace first opened up as well. Get to know Matt through Ultimate Frisbee, and through that John, the brewer there. It's just it's amazing where the industry has moved in the past 8 years since I've been gone, and how many more breweries. It's amazing. It's unreal.
You look back to even 2010. You know, so maybe like. There were literally maybe like 11 breweries online in Chicago, and that was like 7 years ago.
I mean, even Chicago Beer Geeks, we started 5-6 years ago. I can't remember.
Yeah, we started late 2010.
Yeah, and like even on the website, social media, press side, or anything, we were like one of the first that, especially that focused on Chicago. There were other websites that were global, national, whatever, like Rate Beer and all those big ones. But we were strictly Chicago. Now there's a bunch of them too. You know, a ton of everybody's out there because the scene has expanded so much.
There's only one website that matters about Chicago.
That there is. You know.
Which one's that? I hadn't been to a guild meeting in over 10 years. So the last meeting I'd gone to was at the old Siebel Institute.
Right.
There must have been 20 of us there total. We did sensory analysis, had a great time. I won't name names, but I realized one of my brewer friends cannot taste diacetyl, and I'm very jealous. But 10 years went by, and I was at a guild meeting this past year, and well over 150, almost 200 people there. I mean, it is just unreal how many more breweries, how many more people there are, how much more of a resource the guild has become. It's just volunteers, now it's an actual not-for-profit organization. People are getting paid to work there. It's phenomenal, and I can't say enough about the people that are working for the guild right now. The events are phenomenal. Their support for pretty much everything. It's that infrastructure wasn't quite there 10 years ago, and it's phenomenal. It's a great resource for all the brewers.
We were talking with the guild about you know how like Chicago, when you include the suburbs, is over 100 breweries deep. You know, and then like that's not quite Portland numbers, but it's really close. But also Chicago breweries occupy more square footage than Portland breweries.
Right.
So we occupy more space in breweries than Portland does. And Portland is obviously, you know, Beervana, that's where the most concentration of breweries for one city is.
Yeah.
It's not actually.
No, it's Portland.
I mean, Chicago is
We got a bunch of larger facilities too that Portland doesn't quite have.
Yeah, I mean, if you throw Lagunitas on there, or Heineken, I guess.
And InBev.
Yeah, if you throw those big breweries on there.
Yeah, that kind of sucks, right? Like the two biggest breweries in town are fully owned by, you know, multinational corporations.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I can see if I worked there, it'd be a bad thing, and I know a lot of brewers left, you know, Goose Island. If they weren't, I mean, I don't know about Heineken. I know obviously InBev, Anheuser-Busch has a really bad reputation for trying to shut down small breweries.
Yeah, pay to play, lobbying to make rules difficult for small breweries.
It's a little different with the way Heineken's taken over, because they've pushed Lagunitas out into so many more markets overseas.
Yeah, apparently it's all about getting into places like Mexico and Africa.
And that's the thing. And a bigger company can be really good because of that, because they have that money behind them.
Right, and they can do the pay for play and get their stuff out there. But I mean, a lot of these places haven't seen huge IPAs before.
Yeah.
Now it's
They're about to get their chance.
Yeah. I mean, you already see Lagunitas IPA everywhere in the city here. You know, everywhere that doesn't even carry a lot of craft beers, Lagunitas IPAs on tap.
I think they're good for that. You know, like you go to the VFW if you're in a VFW. But you know, Lagunitas is probably there. They get to kick down these doors, and everyone else can follow. That is the one good thing about those relationships. So.
So you guys, I noticed. I mean, you do have bottles here. You're selling out of the brewery.
We do bombers.
Do you distribute anywhere? Or is
Yeah,
there
we're in a bunch of different binnies.
Okay.
We're actually probably in all the binnies. I can think of. We're in a couple different Marianos. We're in School Foods. We're on tap at a whole bunch of different places around the Chicago area.
Yeah.
Pretty much all around.
Yeah.
If I had my sales guy here, he could probably give you a list of places. but they've been with the distributor for the entire time, so we've got a nice spread of places we're at. And we do some specific brews for a couple different country clubs. We do the Brass Tap Brew. And so we do contracts, specific brews that you can only get either at that location and here at the brewery. And for the most part, if it's a contract brew for that place, we might only have a keg or two. So you might only have a chance to get it on draft for maybe a week.
Yeah.
And then, well, if I've got to make it again for that place, then we'll have a keg for about a week. Otherwise,
it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
Nice.
We've got a session IPA that we change up for a place that we had Mosaic 2 instead of Citra. And that we had it on draft for a very short time and it disappeared. But it's already spoken for, so.
Yeah.
What's the, I'm interjecting, what's the other beer that you had at the fest?
The Whale of the Banshee. It's a Hoppy Imperial Irish Red. It was actually that was the first brew that I did. It's their recipe. Just all I did was tweak the mash temperature, use slightly better quality grains, and changed up the dry hop.
This is nice.
So slightly, yeah. It came out really well. I was very, very happy with it, but it was the first one that I was here by myself brewing.
Yeah.
You should hit this. This is really nice.
No, I'm sorry. No, it's all right. Priorities.
No, right?
No, I really like it. That's one of those that I strive for balance in my brews.
Yeah.
And having something that's drinkable across the old board of drinkers. Drinkable light as well. That's something that somebody comes in. I'm here with my friend. All they drink is Miller.
That's a huge segment.
You can say, oh, here we have a light, and there it is. And days like today when it's above 90, it just goes down too easily. Because a lot of the stuff we have is over 8%. So you're getting a good bang for your buck when you come out to the tap room.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you need something nice, if there's a question, we got a couple of those.
Yeah.
So you were out, and then you were done with beer. You're doing something different, and then you came back in.
Yeah. Well, I've been homebrewing for this summer makes 20 years homebrewing.
Right on.
So I was 19, and but yeah, I was kind of just kind of got with how things happened and the way my career had started, and decided to come back to Chicago, come back to bartending and bar managing, and then ended up on the road for 2.5 years doing sales. I got to go coast to coast 3 times. I had just an amazing time. Got to see the country.
That sounds fun.
Did so well with the company. They had me climb the corporate ladder and was running an office, and just I realized I was working. I wasn't living. And I'm back to make a living.
Those are different things, right?
I mean, I wake up before my alarm every day.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I was running the corporate office, it was the alarm that was waking me up every morning, and now I'm waking up and turning my alarm off before it goes on, before it wakes me up. Because I'm happy to come to work.
So what?
Drink to that.
What are your future plans here? With you got some other beers slashing around in your mind that you want to bring to?
Yeah, I got a couple. I do. My friends that just opened up their do-it-yourself garage called Gearhead Workspace, and I do a APA for them with Simcoe and Cascade, and then I do a ginger orange smoked beer for them as well. And that's something that hopefully will be brewed here, and then they can have it over at the workshop or workspace. Got a really nice chocolate porter I've been wanting to do as well. Once we've got time, I mean, we might be past the season, but I've got a good Kolsch. I'd also love to do a good Oktoberfest. We do a nice happy Oktoberfest. Pretty much any style, I'm happy to brew it.
Yeah.
People have been calling for, a lot of people say they want sour, so I've been wanting to do a kettle sour. It's just time and fermentation space. We've got such a small brewery that it's really hard fitting.
That's one thing I noticed when I first walked in, because I haven't been here before. I've had friends that have come here, but I walked in and saw the size of the space. I'm like, wow, this is pretty.
Yeah, because there's I think I saw the tanks, but the tanks are probably like 15 or 30s.
I've got one 15.
Okay.
That's Homer. And then I've got one 3.5, 4 7s, and then 2 bright tanks. So I've got enough space to do. I can do about just under 60 barrels if I'm fermenting everything.
Yeah.
But I only have 2 bright tanks, so it's all depends on what the beer is too, how long.
So was it just you? And you said you had an intern.
For a little while, but now it's pretty much just
you.
Yeah. I'm always looking around. Something that's if they want to come in and learn. That's part of one of the things I love about.
So if you need a job,
summer's here. You're probably
summer intern.
You're out of school.
I'm sure you can get free beer out of it.
Yeah, so it's part of the enjoyment. I still enjoy when I get called in to go help out work at the homebrew shop like I did today at What's Brewing in Palatine. It's sharing the knowledge of the craft and seeing more brewers, and because the world needs more brewers, plain and simple.
And you mentioned that the brewer from Prairie Crafts that we sat down with just a couple months ago.
Yeah, Matt and I are. I guess we're still technically co-workers at the homebrew shop.
Yeah, Big Bear.
He's got a great brewing career ahead of him. He's a really good brewer, really solid brewer.
Because you mentioned he was at the homebrew shop with you too, right?
Yeah, he was there. He was there before me.
Yeah.
He's just a great guy, good solid brewer. We help each other out. I help him as much as I can the other way around. We carpool into events. It's nice having somebody that he's a good friend in the industry that I'm looking out for him. He's looking out for me, and it's how all the brewers should be.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're into homebrewing and you're a homebrewer out there and close to you said Palatine, right?
Yeah, it's in Palatine. It's What's Brewing Supply in Palatine. Actually, he came and hung out at the shop today. So at the shop, we had 2 professional brewers at a homebrew shop today, and it was fun.
I'm sure, especially if you're just starting out homebrewing, you want some advice, and you're near that place, go there. If somebody out there, they'll. Any homebrew shop usually they're pretty good about helping you out and giving you some advice. But
I'm happy to help any homebrewer.
Yeah, where do you have an opportunity to talk to somebody who's brewing at a regular brewery too?
Yeah, because those are like brewing at home and then brewing commercially. Yeah, there's a connection, but there's also a gap there.
Yeah,
that's not the same thing.
I don't know many professional brewers who didn't homebrew. And I know a good amount that either still homebrew or do some sort of craft. I got a good friend that makes jerky at home all the time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's phenomenal when it comes to events or disc golf outings or White Sox
Will
games.
Turner?
Yeah, his jerky is phenomenal. We had the Dragon Boat race last weekend. That the Guild sponsored, and Blue Island Brewing Company was spearheading it, and Will brought down a bag of his sriracha beef jerky, and that was just phenomenal.
Dude, one time I was on Armitage and Western at 5 a.m. catching a bus to go to Lake Forest, and there's this guy that pulls up on a fucking motorcycle with full on leather gear and a helmet, and he's staring at me, and then he lifts his eyelids, and it's Will Turner on his way to Revolution. Yeah.
Nice. So
did you have any jerky?
All the time.
Yeah.
So fun. It's so fun. It's so fun.
So another event that happened since the last podcast we had is FEC Dark Lord Day. Myself and Nick were there. You were not, you said. Probably busy brewing here.
Have you been to Dark Lord Day before?
In the past, years ago. Probably the third one I think I went to, the fourth. It was enjoyable.
And it's changed. It changes every year. I mean, there's bad years, there's good years. This year, I would say, them moving to 2 weeks was phenomenal, because if it was on the same weekend it would have been last year, it would have been the worst rain day of the year again. So that was definitely a good thing.
Yeah, we recorded that day that it would have been.
Yeah.
And it was super gross that day.
Yeah, it was horrible.
It rained 20 days.
So that was definitely good. The way they did completely random beers. I know people didn't like it. A lot of people complained, I had Group A, I wanted, I thought it was probably the most fair thing that they could have done.
You could, the wax on the bottles is so prominent that if someone's handing you a tote with all your beer in it, and you saw different color wax and you didn't want that, the vintages, you could have avoided it.
Yeah, and I heard that's the only thing out of all of them. The only ones I didn't want was the vintage, because I've already had them.
Right.
So I could have basically most of the barrel aged stuff this year was bourbon barrels versus wine. There was a couple wine ones. And I'm not a fan of wine barrels.
The wine ones like the Muscat, and then there's a couple other variants on wine.
So
Dark Lord sweet anyway, and then you put it in a wine barrel with that's a sweet wine. You're
That's why I would have been happy with any of the 90% of them. I would have been happy with, and I'm happy with the one I got. But
what would you get, Dan?
I got the French vanilla.
Okay.
And then my buddy, who actually took my second ticket, didn't want his, so I gave him what I consider what it would cost. I gave him $60, and I got the
chemtrail.
Yeah.
Is your chemtrail in the car right now?
No, it's not.
in the back of the car at the 90.
Yeah, exactly.
90 degrees out. Day. Yeah,
we have to get it out of there. We have to.
But yeah, the lines were really good. The line to get in was far improved from what it was last year. We were in and out, like in the line in general to get into the facility without a problem. Getting the beer was great, easy through the line. We actually had Group E, which I thought was, the way they did it this year, having Group E was awesome.
Okay.
Because we got there early, we were able to party and drink and hang out and eat, talk to tons of people. And then Group E lined up, we went right through the line, got our beers, and like, okay, it's time to go. You know, we didn't have to worry about holding ours, because actually one person we know did get theirs swiped. But they were...
What do you mean, like somebody, like they got their allotment of beer and someone took it from them?
Yeah, so they set it down and they were wasted, so they walked away from it for like probably about as far as his table, but it was behind them. And then they turned around and grabbed it and it's gone.
Yeah.
They did put their variant in their backpack, but their 4 regulars are gone.
We were hearing in previous years, like people would, if you had your beers in your backpack, if someone saw your backpack and it was big, they would unzip your backpack and snatch beers.
So there's a lot of pricks.
It's kind of rough. Yeah, it's not what it used to be.
That's not the true beer crowd doing
Back in my day.
Were there still people like right at the exits buying bottles?
There were people, as soon as you walk out, people selling. So people were holding up beer like $500, which I refuse to pay more than what they cost, and I don't sell my beer either. Although if somebody offered me $500-600 for my beer, I might.
You know, Kimco was going for $400 that day.
Yeah, it's crazy, but you know, I'd rather enjoy it with friends.
Yeah.
You know,
and then you get 2 bottles.
Exactly.
So
There
one
you go.
after the other.
So, but yeah, it was far improved this year. I think they did a great job, or whatever company they now have, you know, doing it for them essentially. The one disadvantage this year, it was much harder to get the barrel aged stuff that they put on tap. Although if there was no barrel aged on tap, going through the regular beer lines was easy. It was quick, easy. There were people camped out.
You forget that it's a metal show, but there's a lot of guest beers on tap at Dark Lord Day.
Yeah, and there were people camping out like at the end of the lines. They're like, you're like, hey, are you waiting in line? They're like, no. And they were just waiting there until they saw a barrel aged go on tap, and then they jumped in line. And I didn't do that. I could have probably done that and got more barrel aged stuff to try, but I'm not like that. I'd rather go hang out and party. You know, if I miss the barrel aged there, whatever. You know, I'm there for the party now, because Dark Lord itself, well, it's a decent beer. It's not my favorite for sure. It is, like I said, very sweet for a stout. There's so many great stouts out there, and that's even when I go to Darkness Day. The fun part of Darkness Day is the hanging out the night before. The fest itself, it's great. But
the bottle share kind of overshadows the actual beer.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, they were saying that you know, that a lot of guys, if they were offering to buy a beer from you, they were undercover cops, and they were giving out citations on the spot, $2 tickets. Yeah, we were talking about this in line a little bit. I like Dark Lord Day from the standpoint that they kind of invented that. Well, they didn't invent, but you know, they kind of invented the bottle share. I mean, the bottle release party.
Oh, the
big
party.
badass bottle release
It's
party.
the greatest marketing event.
Like I don't know anyone else that does a
Besides
bottle release.
Oktoberfest.
Yeah. Oktoberfest obviously is, you know, been around for a long time.
Yeah, no, it's phenomenal marketing.
Yeah.
And the roll of the guys and their beers are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Still wouldn't mind a little more Alpha Class.
Yeah. I mean, they make some great.
I think Alpha Claus is the precursor to the Black IPA. You know?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Roasty, super hoppy, winter. What? Because it's a porter.
It's
a holiday porter.
It's a holiday porter with it's really hopped. It's got a nice malt richness that a nice black IPA should kind of be missing. It should just kind of be a clean roastiness and nice and hoppy.
I'm interested to see what comes of having Todd from, you know, pre-served.
Oh yeah, it's already, you can already taste a little bit of difference.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, because he's such a great brewer. So, you know, the stuff that he did with Surly was incredible. So, but yes.
Another big brewery getting bought out, and the brewers going, I'm going elsewhere.
Yeah.
It's like the mass exodus from Goose.
Yeah, Goose. That's unfortunately that's.
Well, now we got Rev.
Yeah, Rev is.
There's nothing unfortunate about that.
Yeah, Rev is probably the biggest Chicago in my mind. I mean, they're everywhere now in Chicago, which I think is good, because they're. When I think of Chicago, I think of Rev now in terms of beer. People used to think of Goose Island, and a lot of Goose Island's generics.
You don't think about 312 Wheat Ale, bro?
Yeah.
No.
I miss my Hexnut Brown Ale.
You know, and then you know, the Hexnut Brown Ale, one part BCS, 3 parts brown ale. That's the way to go when it's warm out. You know, just cruise. That's a cruiser right there.
I do a couple good blends on tap here.
Yeah.
When people ask.
Yeah.
Blending is something special. We
Yeah.
blend a couple good beers. Learned how to blend from Anthony Corella, who's up at Lucky Monk.
Okay.
Back when
at
it was
Barrington.
Yeah, it was used to be called Brass, and I actually bartended.
Huh.
And he's also been a big influence on me. But when it was Brass, it was almost all English beers. And my end of the shift beer when I was bartending was always a nut brown stout.
It was called Brass. It was a brewery still.
Yeah, it was called Brass.
Okay.
And then they rebranded to the Love's Milk.
Right on.
Same place, same brewer, same owners, just rebranded. Food's just as good, if not better. Beer's just as good, if not better. Yeah.
So I do have to ask, who does the artwork for your stuff? Because I noticed all the artwork up there. The artwork's phenomenal, I think.
Yeah, our artist is Rick, and I'm gonna mispronounce his last name.
Does he have his name on one of these?
Yeah.
Because these are really cool. I noticed, and
he's phenomenal.
All the different, labels and everything for the bottles.
Rick Guzaski.
They're great. So Rick, if you're watching this, I love your artwork.
His artwork's phenomenal, and
it's great.
He's taken one where for the new Northeast IPA, shall we say?
Yeah.
Stormwall. He's got that's a tale that's the Paul Bunyan of the Northeast.
Nice.
It's a mythological captain, and he's kind of made the character look a little bit like me. It's
nice.
Yeah.
So besides the anniversary party next weekend, any other big things coming up down the road? Big parties you got going on here or anything before we wrap it up here?
No, we've like I said, we've got music, live music every Wednesday night. Usually Thursdays as well. We got Babs Leagues. Friday we usually have music, and then there's usually something going on the weekends every weekend. On Saturday we usually have food trucks. We got the pizza guy that his home quarters is right there in the complex, so he's always hanging out too. We had him here about 3 weeks ago. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night event where he parked the food truck out there, and it's phenomenal.
Nice.
Absolutely phenomenal. He's got a pizza called Fig and Pig.
Excellent. So definitely, when you guys get a chance, come out. I mean, I know a lot of people are in Chicago, but how long did it take you to get here, Nick?
Maybe like a solid 45 to an hour.
So 45 to an hour drive on a weekend.
With some traffic.
Yeah, with some traffic. It took me the same. I live up way north, and it took me about the same, and there was a pretty good chunk of traffic by O'Hara, I think.
Oh, I live way up north. It takes me 45 minutes every day.
So it's
all highway.
Don't worry about it. Just come and hang out. It's a great place. If you're out in the burbs, especially if you're out in Westmont, I don't know why you haven't been here already. But
if you come out to Westmont to go to the Ferrari dealership, make sure you come here as well.
Yeah. If you can afford a Ferrari, you can afford some beer.
We're open Tuesday through Sunday. Tuesday through Thursday, it's 5 to close. Fridays 3 to close, and then Saturday and Sunday is noon to close.
And then make a Sunday fun day out of it. I know New Whistle is out this way. This place is out this way.
Miskatonic's out here.
Miskatonic.
Buckle Down's out here.
They have growlers and bottles to go.
Church Street is out here. Brewworks is out here.
Right on.
Yeah, so we've got a good bunch of friends out here as well that are do some collaborations.
It's a good way to spend a Sunday.
Yeah,
or a ditch day if you ditch work.
And if you're in the area on a Monday and you see that somebody's here and I'm here, I'm more than happy to sell you a bomber or fill up a growler for you and pour you a pint.
There you go.
And we're here for the customers. We want our beer to go to the people that want to drink it. And
definitely.
I really enjoy when after a long day of work, seeing people at tap room just.
I was surprised. It's Sunday. It's 95 degrees out. It's a really good crowd out there.
The whole bar was full.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and we're very dog friendly. My
dog there was a dog there
every single day.
Yeah, so coming out, bring your dog, hang out, have some good beers, and just a reminder on our social media stuff. Check us out on Facebook and Myths and Legends on Facebook as well, so you can follow them there. I'm assuming all your releases get put up on Facebook.
And then mythsandlegendsbeer.com.
Their website, and chicagobeergeeks.com, our website, as well as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Like I said, we had a bunch of Instagram pics I put yesterday. MySpace, yes. In the MySpace,
Shout out to Tom from MySpace.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's our friend on MySpace. We have no MySpace. But
it was the music. You go to someone's MySpace page, and whatever music they like was blaring, fucking loud. Yeah, it was the worst.
No, the 8-bit graphics that were just looping.
And the looping graphics. Yeah.
And check us out on Untapped too. On Untapped, Nick is Chai Beer Geeks, so he runs the main Chai Beer Geeks. So if you want to feel sad about how much you don't drink, follow him on Untapped. I'm Sonic GT on Untapped. I think that's my name on Untapped. I'm far behind. I'm trying to hit my 1,000 unique though.
There you go.
I'm up to 860, 870. I got like 30 or 40 of them yesterday at the fest. So that was a definite bump and help. So thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you again next time. Cheers.
Cheers.